I think study abroad is one of the most transformative events in anyone's lives. When you leave your comfort zone and you go to a new country and a new culture and a place where there are different languages and where people see the world differently, I think that's really when we grow as a person and expand. I think back on my experiences as a young person having the opportunity to do this and being able to do it at my university. One of the things I'm happiest about at AUN is that because of some of our partnerships with groups like the Global Liberal Arts Alliance and the Association of American International Colleges and Universities, AUN students have opportunities that students around the world don't have to study, I think now in 24 different countries, 48 programs. It's extraordinary. So if I were an AUN student, I'd look really carefully at them because these experiences really do broaden you and change your life.
My name is Jean-Pierre. I'm a professor in the United States, professor of literature and critical theory, and a visiting professor at American University of Nigeria. I'm a founder member of Interdisciplinary Genocide Studies Center. It's an association, a think tank of scholars, professors, artists, policymakers. In creating this association was a way of having academicians involved in Rwanda post-genocide society.
This is why we choose the name interdisciplinary, because we're very conscious that the members of the organizations are coming with different scientific knowledge background. At that time, myself, I was an economist, so we had on the board specialists in literature, philosophy, theology, sociology, mathematics. So we choose the name interdisciplinary to include different disciplines towards the idea of understanding and the research on the genocide.
What happened in Rwanda in 1994, as academicians, we felt like we didn't respond in time. After a genocide, what happened, you have a period of genocide denial. Genocide denial is something that happened during the genocide, of course, and also mostly after just genocide. And we thought we should address the issue of genocide denial, and that's how we created this association that is made by more than 35 members from different universities, different places in the world. So this association is registered in Rwanda and also in the United States. What we do as activities, I would say, in a way of responding, bringing our response, our contribution in a post-genocide society. One is like to fight against genocide denial. And in doing what we do to fight against denial as academicians, of course, is through conferences, writing, making people aware of what happened in Rwanda, in addressing the issue of Rwanda to our students and our colleagues. And we started then the association, the way we work as a group. We started bringing people here in Rwanda to study, to know more about genocide, and in using, in listening first to survivors, and also in using our different disciplines, so different approaches in a way of understanding mechanism of violence and also genocide denial.
Hi, my name is Fernanda Alves and I'm from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It was amazing because it covered basically all the fields, education, health, we have meetings with survivors from the genocide, but we also visited a prison in Nyanza and talked with genocide perpetrators. So it was really, it was very full of activities and really nice activities.
So it's something that we have been doing since 2000. So the group was created in 2004. It's something we have been doing since 2002. 5 then, and more than 537 people have been here in Rwanda through that program from 20 universities. That include American University of Nigeria, and the most universities are from the United States, of course. And participants, of course, they come from different countries. So in Africa, we have had students from Burkina Faso, of course from Congo, Senegal, Congo-Kinshasa, Congo-Brazzaville, Burundi, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Senegal, and then now we are having students from American University of Nigeria, which means from Nigeria.
Before I came to Rwanda, I had a stereotyped view about how things were. I guess I saw Rwanda as a war-torn and underdeveloped country for some funny reason, I don't know why. I think the first thing I said at the airport was, oh my God, it's so clean.
Cleanness of the country, honestly, is quite different with my country. Yeah, it's more clean to my country.
From the places we visited in Rwanda so far, I've learned a lot. I mean, it's a lot different reading someone's story and watching and seeing a movie than actually hearing a story face to face, like physically.
So we have this program, like it's a kind of study tour in Rwanda, tour in Rwanda. We do also organize conferences in different places where we have members, so not just in Rwanda. We organized our first conference in 2006, and the title of the conference was Genocide and the Production of Knowledge. And then different conferences in France, and the one was at École Normale Supérieure in Paris, and also other conferences in the United States and Canada. And we also started a library here in Rwanda that is hosted at CNLG. So in some I would say that's also the kind of activities we have been doing. So in Rwanda, the program is for 3 weeks. The first week is is on genocide. And
actually seeing places and seeing consequences of the genocide, it's very different. It has impacted me a lot.
I didn't believe it because yesterday night I hardly slept because of what I saw in the Rwanda's memorial genocide. I hardly slept yesterday. I couldn't even enter the place. Seeing is believing. I think they should come and see for themselves. It will be better because no matter how we try to explain to them, they won't understand unless if they come. So seeing is believing. I think they should come and see.
No matter how much I explain, they wouldn't understand. I would want them to come and experience it themselves. It has put a lot of things in perspective, and my ideas of certain concepts like forgiveness, reconciliation are more in depth now.
We do visit genocide sites, mainly talking to genocide survivors, like to listen to their narratives which happen here in Rwanda. So and also talk to perpetrators, of course.
Rwanda's story is a story of hope, basically. And it shows you that you can build anything that you really put yourself into together, and unity is very important.
I grew up with this mentality that we should avoid crisis. So I think I should keep telling people that we should avoid all those things because they are not good. If we know their beginning, we don't know the end.
The construction of Rwanda is very, very important because it's like showing to people how you can transform your wound, how you can transform your wound, your traumatic memory, to transform it into determination in terms of progress, reconstruction of people, of country. So that's also a very important moment we do. And in the second week, what we do to the reconstruction is to visit talk to members of the government, visiting some different sectors that show the part of reconstruction of Rwanda, NGO, journalists. So those are different activities. And the third week, we expose our participants, professors or students, to work with different Rwandan organizations.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jean-Pierre. Thank you, and Alex, and even Olivier, Madam Maggie, thank you. Lana, everyone, thank you very much. We actually had a great experience. But what I don't want to remember about Rwanda is Yamata. I don't want to remember the place. It makes me sad, seriously. I don't want to remember the place. When we went there, I couldn't see it. In Uganda, I have already created a sub-group. Even though we have it in our school, the community service. So I have already created a WhatsApp group. Now I explain to about 70 people what Uganda is all about. So now I have like 48 people that they are ready to work with me for this Uganda. But I changed the name, I give it an Arabic name, which is Zapat. I'm sure you're familiar with the word. It means cleanliness, yeah. So if I go back home, immediately if I go back home, first Sunday, but we are not going to wait monthly, we are going to do it weekly, just like AUN.
Another really, really touching experience that I'm sure was touching to them too was when we went to the demobilization camp at, I can't remember the name of the place, but we're on our way to Bisenyi, Mutobo. It was amazing when we entered and the welcome we received was really amazing. I was glad to see people who misunderstood their government and were coming back now to serve their country. It's amazing.
We kept talking about the Vision 2020 and how it is now has been changed from 2020 to 2050. And everybody kept talking about the illegal. And you could just tell that it was working with all the ministries we visited. Somehow they kept referring to each other. It just showed that everybody is working together. The one laptop per child was something very interesting to me because I know in the world we live in now, technology is very important.
And we didn't stay just in Kigali, which is the capital, but we also traveled abroad in the whole country. So it helps because you get the sense that you know the place. So for a month I was traveling with this group and we were interviewing people and having meetings and discussing the past and the future of Rwanda. So it was really interesting.
While I was doing my undergraduate studies at McAllister College, I had the opportunity to go to Kigali, Rwanda with Professor Karigei and take part in his program there over the summer. It was the summer of 2012 and I spent 6 weeks in Kigali and traveling around the country doing research and staying with a host family. The other thing that I was doing, of course, was my research, and I was focusing on women's testimonial narratives from women who had survived the genocide. So one thing about books like that is that they're really hard to find outside of Rwanda. So part of being there was just the fact that I could go to the libraries there and the research centers, as well as the memorial center, and find things that were totally inaccessible to me outside of Rwanda.
So why would you go to Rwanda, a little country in East Africa? Some of you know it's a place where I've spent a lot of time, and most of my academic research is focused on Rwanda. Rwanda experienced, as we know, the genocide in 1994 that we hope never happens again. What I have focused on mainly in my work and my time there is understanding how a country and a people rebuild after experiencing that level of horror and trauma. Rwanda has come so far that I believe this little country in East Africa has lessons for all of us. Lessons in education, in healthcare. Just to give you an example, Rwanda is now using drones, not for conflict, but to deliver medicine to rural areas. Couldn't we learn that here? In governance, they hold their leaders accountable through a contract system. Maybe most importantly, there are more women in parliament in Rwanda than any country in the world. And guess what? Public policy is starting to look very different.
The last part of the program is a kind of response to what people went through. I mean, students or scholars were part of the program. So they have different choices. Some prefer to do a research, so in a way of interpreting the experience they went through. So they can write a paper, so it takes time, they will go, they will have some interviews with people using local libraries and studying, researching, preparing like an article or any paper they want to write, and others like an artistic work, a play or a documentary. Another possibility consists of doing internship with a Rwandan organization, any Rwandan organization. The third possibility they have is to do a community service. So especially young people, they prefer to stay in a Rwandan family and then not to be involved in everyday activities. They're mostly like a community service. We go building a school or houses, so that is another possibility. So the other one we have been doing with some universities too, especially School of Arts, is to have a festival at the end of our program. So they will try to represent, artistically, the experience they went through, and that is a very, very interesting experience too. So I would say that is mostly the 4 activities now we have been doing with participants to the summer program. The big lesson from Rwanda, according to me, is what you may call the human ecology. So if you are talking about the progress, so it's not just health, but you have health, you have education, you have security, you have IT, information technology. So it's like any sector is there like to participate in the building of Rwanda. An institution that is isolated but together. So they are working just together. That is very important. So this human ecology exists, like I would say, within human beings, but also you have human beings and the cosmos. Cosmos is also very important, showing the nature of Rwanda, knowing like our limitations, what we have, whatever, and what we don't have, and we work that, and it becomes also a place of motivation for the development of the country. And I think that is the story needs also to be taught to the world.
So if I were an AUN student, I would jump at this opportunity to go and learn. We have faculty here from Rwanda, including Professor Jean-Pierre, who is a world-renowned scholar and so highly respected in Rwanda, and he can help you lead the way. Several of our AUN students went to Rwanda last summer, and I had the great joy of being there and seeing them at the end as they presented their projects. I could see in their eyes and I could hear in their voices that they had been transformed by the experience. So if you're interested, please look into it and just do one thing while you're here at AUN, and that is take advantage of our study abroad opportunities.